Hey BoLS fans, AdamHarry here with another BoLS Tabletop Ready tips for the rest of us, where I take you through some basic tips to get your stuff tabletop ready. Today I am going to be painting the Exterminator Atilla Mark I, which is from the Cybertronics starter box series. You can see that's for the Mutant Chronicles Warzone Resurrection game from Protos there. Got this bad boy. I was really excited to put him together and get him painted up. Yeah. Basically, I've got them built. What I'm going to do now is just going to take them to the Outback here, give them a quick prime. I'm going to start with a black primer, and then I'm going to use some brown paint, and I'm going to paint them like the robot from Judge Dredd. Maybe if I remember, I'll go find a picture of him to show off here in a minute. But first up, let's go take him outside and prime him. Alright, BoLS fans, we are back. I literally just finished priming this guy. He's actually still wet. The reason I'm showing this step off real quick, two things. One, this is a resin model, so first thing you want to do whenever you have resin, take a toothbrush, just make sure that there's no mold release on the model. Give it a good once over with that. Give it a good rundown. Just make sure you've got all the mold release off the model, any loose flash, all that bad stuff that you don't want. Anything that's going to create a barrier between the model, the resin, and the primer that you're going to put on. The second thing you want to point out here is I'm in Texas and it is plenty cold today, so you can't leave your model outside to dry in cold weather. At least it doesn't work well for me, so that's why I brought him in here, where I have a vent fan. That's that loud noise you're hearing right now. This is a little pro tip for everybody. If you're spraying stuff and you have a room with a vent fan in it, just put your stuff in the vent fan room and turn it on, walk away, come back in 20 minutes, should be good to go. Most people have a vent in their bathroom, so a lot of the time what I'll do, especially in Texas where the humidity kind of messes with everything while the paint's drying, I will actually prime the model, take it in the bathroom, turn the vent fan on, and come back in 20 minutes or so once the model is dry. So with that said, I'm going to leave these lights on and let it bake for a bit, and then I'll be back in 20 minutes my time, but it'll be a quick edit on your end, so be right back. Alright BoLS fans, we are back. As you can see, it's been about 20 minutes or so. The model is now dry. Be sure to get underneath as well. Just lean it back and spray underneath. That's important too. The next step here is, because I want to do the paint the Exterminator here like the robot from Judge Dredd, the Stallone version, not the good one. Carl Urban, go watch that one if you haven't. Plug. It's cool. Anyway, the next step is actually I'm going to take some Scorch Brown here, old pot of paint I have, and I'm going to coat the entire model in Scorch Brown. The reason is the particular robot from Judge Dredd, that's the theme I want to go with, and it looks really similar to this robot too, so I thought it would fit. But the whole thing's going to be brown, and part of the reason for that too is the brown's going to make a nice undercoat for making it look rusty and dirty, like Goat Boy taught me. So I'm going to do that, the whole model, and then I'll come right back. I've just finished up with the brown base coat. As you can see here, it's really thin. I wanted to make sure not to obscure any of those super sharp details that are on this model. One of the reasons I was excited to paint it. I've actually taped him to a cap that was on a spray paint cap here. He's a little loose, but I'll probably add some more tape to that. But I just needed something quick and dirty to hold him while I was working on it. So the next step is, now that he's got his brown undercoat, it's still a little wet, but it's fine. Is going to be using some bulk gun metal or whatever dark silver you want to use, dark metal, to get all of the underparts of the armor. So I'm just going to do, just going to use some dry brush technique on there with the bulk gun metal, kind of slap it on there, some of the joints and stuff like that. Get underneath the armor plates, because the armor plates are going to be predominantly brown, but I'm going to be a little sloppy with it because I want it to, I want the metal to be a little chipped up, the armor plates to be a little chipped up. So this is part of that effect, and then we'll clean it up here in a minute. But next step, dry brush with bulk gun metal. Alright, as you can see, I've been quite sloppy with the dry brush. I've gotten it pretty well covered, lots of different spots with the dry brush, but key parts there are getting into the joints, getting into some of the raised sharp edges areas, stuff like that, just to get them really kind of covered in that silver. To make it pop out here. The next step is pretty simple. Just going to take some old Devlin mud here and wash it down. I wanted to use a wash that had obviously the dark tone, but also a little bit of brown mixed in there to kind of bring out some more of that rust look to it and kind of dirty them up a bit more. So again, just using some brown, dark brown wash, chestnut maybe, that'd be a good option. Ogre Flesh, that's another good option there. I don't know what the new colors are, but all those. You could also just go with the traditional straight black wash just to bring it down a notch, and then bring it back up with the regular brown paint to paint up the highlights. But for now, let's just get the wash on them. Back, and as you can see, the ink is mostly dry on the model. It helped bring in and kind of blend together some of the metal and brown. Just made it a little bit less harsh overall, but you can still see the metal through the ink wash, which is the look I'm going for. The next step is actually to go on all of the armored plates, which is why I was excited about this model again. It's got a lot of those flat surfaces. I want to take some Dryad bark here, which is basically the same as a scorched brown. It's a little bit lighter, which is what I want to go for, and paint all of the metal plates, like along the legs there, as you see. But I want to leave the silver on the edges, kind of where you would picture any of the metal rubbing against itself. Would kind of chip off the paint. He just fell off the thing there, but that's okay. That's why we use tape. So make sure that's secure. But again, just go through there, the plating, the armor plating, and use the Dryad bark to kind of clean it up. But again, leave the metal on the edges. That's the important part. So, all right, let me go do that step, and I'll come back when I'm done. Okay, so at this point, the model's pretty much done. I went in and I've cleaned up, again, some of the armor plating, just to leave the edges a little chipped up, make them look battle-worn. But if you want to take them to the next level, there's a couple more things I want to do. Like I said, if you're just getting started painting, you're not too sure, not too confident in your skills, and you just want to stop here, that's perfectly acceptable. I mean, this is totally painted, tabletop ready, absolutely ready to go. But there's a couple more things we can do to take it up a notch. First thing we can do is do the eyes. So that's going to be a combination of foundation red, and then I have a blood red that's going to be kind of the glowy part. And then we can clean the gun up a little bit more too. I'm gonna take some brighter, like a chainmail, to the gun bits, and clean that up a little bit more. So the gun's a bit more maintained than the robot is overall. So yeah, come back, and I'm going to do some next steps. Okay, so I just basically took the model up a little notch above tabletop ready. As you can see, what I did is I went ahead and repainted some of the gun barrels with a nice little chainmail silver here. It's a much brighter silver, so it's going to come across a little bit more. The other thing I did is, as you can see, I did the eyes, painted those up, and what I did with the eyes, really simple process. You just start with a nice foundation red, and then I went up to a blood red to take it up notch, and then just one little dab of some dwarf flesh. The reason I went with dwarf flesh is because it's got a bit of an orange to it. Well, it's flesh color, but it's got more red pigment in there, as you can tell. So it kind of fits really nice. And now his eyes are nice and kind of creepily and glowy. So the other last little detail I did is I added a little bit of freehand. As you can see there, put a 0-1. He is the Exterminator Atilla Mark I, so I figured that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, the great thing about these models, this model in particular, is any model with nice flat surfaces, you can do pretty much whatever you want. Like if you wanted to do different unit markings, maybe you want to paint his skull a different color, or what have you. The shoulder pads are a great, nice flat surface for you to get creative. Whatever you wanted to do, but this model is really cool. I really am excited to have painted it, and there's lots of other things you can do, but that's a whole other series. This is, after all, tabletop ready, and we just want you to get your stuff base coated and in the quickest, cleanest way. quickest, dirtiest way possible, right? So that's pretty much it. I'll do the base maybe in another tutorial if you guys like this one. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. This has been another Tabletop Ready from BoLS, and this is AdamHarry signing off. Hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, subscribe, like below. We really do appreciate that. Come back next week for some more awesome hobby tips. Thanks again. Signing off. Bye.